I asked the question about why the PlayStation 2 multitap was so complicated, and I got a lot of answers. I want to kind of talk about what I think is happening here. SmackDown vs. Raw is a 6-player game. It's kind of hard to see, but it's for 1 to 6 players. To me, that would mean it would require 2 multitaps. The issue happened when I booted the game up and I said, you need to have a controller in port 1A. Well, I had a controller right here in port 1A, and the multitap had been plugged into the first controller slot on the PlayStation 2 itself. Once I unplugged the multitap and put it into port 2 and plugged a controller directly into port 1 on the PlayStation 2, then it seemed to work okay. We didn't really try multiplayer out, but everything else was functioning as it should. Out of all the controllers you see in front of you, only 2 of them are actual official PlayStation 2 controllers, and this is where people are trying to answer that question. It's the internet, so most people just said, hey, you're just stupid. You obviously don't know how to use a multitap or how the PlayStation 2 multitap works, but this wasn't the first time I've had issues, and yes, I might be stupid, but I think I can plug a controller port in every once in a while. Some of the more helpful people out there pointed out that these are not official controllers, and they're not, and that could be causing a whole lot of voltage issues, which I'm sure is the actual problem here. Now, some of these are different. These from a company called Saipan are better than these here. I think I got them at a local game store. They're very light. There's almost nothing to them. So I could see why the PS2 multitap that's official didn't want to play well with these. To complicate the matter, the memory card I'm using right now is one of those unofficial Amazon ones that sells for like $9. That didn't help either, I'm sure. And last but not least, I noticed that these are starting to separate here on the controller port itself. Now, I understand that the reason that's happening is because they're not that well made in the first place. They're cheap for a reason, but that could also be an issue. Either way, the PlayStation 2 multitap is one of those weird things that I've never gotten to work quite right, or it's taken a lot of trial and error, or each game has a specific order in which it wants you to plug controllers in, kind of like the bouncer. It's issues like that that made sure that the Nintendo 64 and the GameCube were kind of the go-to party systems when I was growing up, and the PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 1 were kind of the single-player systems. At least that's my experience.